team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
I need to know, man. Real quick. Word is just Cal, man. How are you enjoying your rookie OTL first? Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How do you feel about continuing that legacy of
we
Dallas
the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
Route, man. I want to know, man.
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
I need to know, man. Real quick. Word is just Cal, man. How are you enjoying your rookie OTL first? Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How do you feel about continuing that legacy of
we the
Dallas
5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
Route, man. I want to know, man.
We the 5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching a blooper. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lead. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's Brian, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget, Jason Witten and the Trip Bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
What the first INT to the house gonna look like? Man, what's
Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's iron, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason and Wayne and the trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
I need to know, man, real quick, where did this come from? Man, how are you enjoying your rookie? Your first Super Bowl Dallas Cowboys scouting, man. How do you feel about changing that legacy of
We the
Dallas Cowboys?
5-time Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's iron, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wayne and the trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones. Super Bowl champs. We got rings that go bling, go blam. Watching your team is like watching the blue bug. We about to take you back to the future. Number 21, Zeke the Freak. And number 50, the General Lee. Cowboys no need to flex. Like there's iron, I'm throwing up the X. If you a true Dallas fan, don't forget. Jason Wayne and the trip bets. This is one team that can't get cloned. This is Jerry's world, y'all know Jerry Jones.
Route, man. I want to know, man. What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast, and I am live in the building, man. And you already know, man, because I have a hard time getting up in the morning. That if I am up in the morning on this power hour, I thought I'd bring one of my super friends on here with me. So you already know, man, I got your favorite cousin, Cowboy, Sin City Cowboy. What's up with you, man?
What's going on, Dallas Cowboys scouting? How you doing, West Coast? Glad to be here, brother.
Man, I'm blessed, man. I am blessed on this great day, on what is this, great Monday. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this week started right. Hey, every day leading, hey, shout out to the people on Facebook and shout out to my people over on YouTube, my boy Marcus, Carrie, good morning. How you guys doing over there? Make sure you guys start loading them questions up and stuff so we can get this show popping, man. We got a lot to talk about this morning. This is the Power Hour. This is something we're going to be doing. We've pretty much been doing it for a little while now. But I appreciate everybody who jumped in. Let's get this thing popping. Make sure you guys share. Remember, sharing only lets West Coast know that you care. And let's get this thing popping, man. So, straight out the gate, man. I think I need to take the sweater off because it's hot in the mug up in here.
That's what happens, man. You start getting excited about what you're getting ready to do. Next thing you know, you need to start dropping the layers.
Exactly, man. But you know what? It's a good thing. It's cool. I layer up all the way in Cowboys. So I can go like 2 more layers and I still got Cowboys on. So I'm good. But, hey, man, let me shout out some folks in this comment box before we get this thing popping and push off. What's up with you, Jay? We got Jay watching all the way from Doha, Qatar, I mean. What is up, bro? What is up, man? I remember I was in Afghanistan for like, I was deployed there for I was there for 4 months, 4.5 months. So I already know how it is to be in that desert. Hey, brother, if you on there on some military duties, bro, I really salute you. If you there on some civilian stuff, brother, I salute you also, man. Remember, if you there from some military stuff, best thing you could do is come home, baby. So salute to you over there, Jay. G Jizzle, what's up, man? Jason out there in Dallas, Texas in this beat. I see you, man. Jay, what up with you? Carrie, what's up, Scout? What up, Scouts? You changing these boys? Changing those boys for the video call. You changing those. I don't know. Carrie, what's up? What up, Teague? Sam, what you do, West Coast? Tuning in from DFW. Let's go, Cowboys Nation Big. Edwards, what's up with you, Jay? Deployed, man. I knew you was deployed, man. I knew you was deployed. Hey, I need everybody on the feed right now to say good morning to my boy Jay and tell him and give him a salute, man. He over there serving our country right now, man. So I appreciate you, man.
Phil, we got Big Phil on the line. I'm from Sin City Cowboy over there, from Sin City Cowboy Sports, man. They cover the Cowboys very, very tough. So we are glad, we are great. I absolutely love it when we have additional bloggers on here, simply because they bring their own aspect, they bring their own kind of taste and feel to what they see on the Dallas Cowboys. So I want to give him an opportunity to say what's up to everybody that is watching live on the Sin City page. So, man, go ahead, Sin. Let me get you to pay your bills, man.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, man. Just want to thank everybody for joining us. I appreciate it. Check me out on Sin City Cowboy on Facebook or Cowboys Nation on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here and joining us today. I'm excited, real excited about this game we got coming up against the Saints, man. What do you want to get into today?
Man, I'm going to keep it real, bro. My breakdowns, I kind of told everybody. What up with you, Maurice, over on YouTube? Hey, remember, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching, please make sure you go over to YouTube, hit that Dallas Cowboys Scouting, hit that subscribe, and then also right after that, immediately following that, I need you to type in Sin City Cowboy and hit that subscribe. You should be subscribing to 2 pages this morning. We appreciate you guys. It's the only thing we ask to keep the lights on over here. So let's really jump into this, man. But yo, I told you guys. My whole undertone this whole entire week was 2 things. 1, ain't nobody scared of the damn Saints. And then 2, we gonna control what we can control. You know what I'm saying? So this first thing that I want to kind of get into as far as controlling what we can control, before we do that, I want to shout out to all the Patreons, man. The people who are supporting Dallas Cowboy Scouting, the Scouts. Remember, the Scouts simply mean a serious Cowboy fan out to obtain uncover truth. I apologize for that. So shout out to all the Scouts. Shout out to Scout Carey. Shout out to Scout Clay. Scout E. Cush. My Scout Ryan. Shout out to Carey. Scout Christian. Star Breeze. Shout out to my corporate spouts Oates. Stash Man and Cowboys Experience. Shout out to Fonzo, Barry, and Mr. Douglas. And shout out to OG, I don't know why I always say OG Bobby Johnson. That's your, hey, I gave you a nickname from now on. So you OG Bobby Johnson. Hey, I got all your guys' picture. I just didn't have time to update it before before I started the show, and I apologize for that. But all my scouts who are supporting, you guys know I'm going to take care of you guys, and I appreciate everything you do. Remember, if you want to be a scout, simply just hit the shop now button, take you straight to the Patreon account. You go ahead and pick the plan that is best suited for you, and let's get this thing popping, man. So, hey, now that we done paid all the bills, man, what are we talking about this morning? That is, ain't nobody scared of the damn Saints. But I'm going to tell you like this, bro. Even though you might not be afraid of someone, that is not going to stop you from getting your kicked. Right?
Right. Hey, I guess I had family walk in. What's up, y'all? I'm just doing a show real quick.
What's up?
Well, sorry about that. Got my little boy. Come here, boy. Come say what's up. Come on. Hurry. We got the youngest scout. The youngest scout in the house right here. Jackson, say what's up.
What's up, man? Hey, that's number 7, or is he number 3?
All right. Sorry about that interruption, man. So, yeah, no, I'm real excited, man. We got the Saints. Ain't nobody scared of them. I think we definitely got a shot. A real good shot, more than anybody else that's on their schedule as far as I'm concerned. I think we have the exact kind of combination that you need to give the Saints a difficult time. The only way that you're going to beat the New Orleans Saints, as far as I'm concerned, is keep their offense off the field. You saw it in week 1 when they went against Tampa Bay, and there was a ton of points scored there, and that was a difficult game for them, but they were still in the game. You saw them against the Rams. You saw them against a number of high-powered other offenses that just went out there, and all you saw was a shootout. It's fun for us fans to watch, but we want to go home with the W. It doesn't really matter about who likes what they're seeing. We want the win. We're jockeying for position here for the playoffs, so we need to keep their offense off the field, and how you do that is with a top-rated defense, which we have, and by running the ball and controlling the clock. That's kind of what I see coming up for this game, and what I'd like to see us do: long, sustained drives and keep their offense off the field.
All right, Sin City, you brought up the defense, so I love the defense. The defense, they like my best friend. Matter of fact, if I was not wearing my Star Status membership hat right now, let me put that on the side. Let me so you can get a. If I was not wearing my Star Status membership hat right now, I would actually be wearing my Hot Boy hat. But I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was looking at these stats to the right-hand side, I'm going to be honest with you, I couldn't wear my Hot Boy hat looking at these stats. I just couldn't do it. Because Phil, Sin City. I know it takes me a couple minutes to get the acronyms right. Sorry about that. But Sin City. Bruh, Did you know that your defense over the last 3 games and in 6 of the games that we've played this year, we have given up at least 14 to 17 points in the second half? Now think of this, Sin. In the last 3 points, let me tell you how many points we've given up in the fourth. Against Atlanta, we gave up 10 points. In the fourth quarter, against Washington, we gave up 10 points. Against Philly, we gave up 7 points. Now listen to this, Sin City. Against Philly in the second half, we gave up 17 points in quarters 3 and 4. Right. Against Washington, we gave up 16 points in the second half. These are games that we won too. You know what I'm saying? I can go back to the games we lost. Think about this. Against New York, our very first win of the year, guess how many points we gave up in the fourth quarter? 10.
Yeah.
Guess how many points we gave up in the third quarter? 3. So that's 13, even in our very first win. So the reason why I put that there is because that is post. I like to say that's pre-Amari Cooper and post-Amari Cooper. You know they got ABC, before Christ and after Christ. Well, we got before Cooper and after Cooper. So before Cooper, our defense, and I know they say how can Cooper help the defense because he's not on defense, but it is. We'll actually segue into that. Good morning to everybody on YouTube too. I appreciate you guys for watching. But bro, how are we going into this game expecting to beat Drew Brees, who averages 36 points a game, and we are giving up a minimum of at least a touchdown and a field goal in the fourth quarter, bro?
Well, I think it's pretty clear what
What's
kind
the
of
wait
defense
there you go. That's what I was going to ask you. Before you even jump in, can you explain to the people why it's happening? Why do you think we're giving up so many points in the fourth quarter and the second half? Why do you think so?
Yeah. Well, we have a bend but don't break defense. We play zone a lot, so we try and force everything underneath and towards the middle. We try and funnel that towards our linebackers, which is why you see Jalen Smith, why you see LVE with so many tackles. He's leading the league in solo tackles as far as linebackers are concerned. Actually, everybody is concerned. So, that's what we try and do on defense, and we try and give our D-line time to get home. Every once in a while we'll sprinkle in a blitz, perhaps a zone blitz, and we get burned on it, and sometimes we're successful. And other than that, that's kind of our plan, and what you're finding is by the time they get to the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they're finding those sweet soft spots where they're seeing some openings. Quarterbacks are hitting the tight ends, which is a zone killer. They can kind of find the soft spots there in the middle, and that's what you're seeing teams do to us. Now, you combine that with maybe perhaps some fatigue. I think one of our scouts brought that up that we were talking to earlier. I think that was a great point. Our defense has been on the field quite a bit. And that's both pre and post Amari Cooper. So that's going to be a factor in it. I'm not going to say all the way because I know those boys are in shape and they still perform well at the end of the game just like they do at the beginning of the game. So I don't think fatigue is as much of a factor.
Thank you. They're not us. They're not. The defense is not us. You know what I'm saying? They don't get tired at the end of the fourth. I know. I know people try to think that they do, but they're not us. You know what I'm saying? They're not regular humans. These are professional athletes. They can play in the fourth quarter.
You have to bring the cart out for me. Drag me off the field. need the whole line get me up into the back of that gator. No, I'm with you, man. I think there's definitely that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, and that's a big factor in it, is that you're seeing teams get comfortable with what we're doing on defense, and we're a bend but don't break defense. We'll force you to go underneath, and we're hoping that our defensive player being there in that area, getting to the tackles quickly, and everybody running to the ball on the defensive side will stop you before you get the first down. And the more times you get in third down, the more chances we have to get you off the field. That's the money down, so we can get you off. The one thing that concerns me a lot is how successful teams are now starting to be on third down against our defense.
Yes. Good point. So, great point. Keep going. Great point. Yeah. Great point.
I think we saw Colt McCoy there. He converted a lot of third and longs, and part of that is just some bad luck, but part of it is mixing up your defensive calling. I think at that point is when you should mix in third and long. I would try and get pressure a little bit quicker and try and get a blitz in. We have been doing that. You saw the safeties there, and and you've seen Jalen Smith blitzing. Now, we also get caught on it too. So it's worked out well for us in the Philly game. We did a zone blitz, and LVE backed up and ended up getting that interception on Carson Wentz. And then in this last game against Washington, you saw it where it hurt us. We brought our best defensive lineman off the line in a zone blitz, and we blitzed him with Jalen Smith. And because we were playing zone, we had to match Wilson up with Vernon Davis, and he just burnt us right away. That's the bad thing about zone, is that if you have a speedster out there and you don't have somebody on him and some help, then he can really make your defense pay. And that's what Vernon Davis did there right away.
Yeah, and you know what's sad, bro? What really like kind of irritated me the most about that Washington game is it was a tight end. And the tight end was not, he was running free. Like the tight end, Vernon Davis had nobody on him. Like he was theoretically free. Like he was just wide open. Like, and it wasn't even like no advanced route. It was literally almost like a post, and he just kind of curved it, and he just literally, Colt McCoy just threw the ball where he knew Vernon Davis was going to be at. Now, not to make this Dak centric, but I'm gonna be honest with you. When Dak Prescott is able to add that aspect into his game, where he's able to throw the spots and not players, we're gonna score more points. Because that play that you're talking about, when Vernon Davis got us, that's exactly what Colt McCoy did. He knew where the play, and most importantly, he knew where Vernon Davis was gonna end up at. You know what I'm saying? He knew in the spot, in the area of where he was going to throw it. So he literally throws it to the spot. Vernon Davis runs right under it and straight into the end zone. Straight into the end zone. But, I mean, go ahead.
Since you're bringing up, I mean, you want to know what I'm most worried about, West Coast, is it really is Dak Prescott does that a lot. And I'm not trying to make anybody mad, but this is what worries me the most. And this is also why we're so successful now that we have Amari Cooper. So bottom line is Amari Cooper is known for his route running. He gets separation. So now Dak doesn't have to throw you open. He doesn't have to do that because Amari Cooper is getting open himself. And so that way he can just hit him wide open with a step, 2 steps. But what was happening before is Dak would try and just throw the ball to where he thought fit the best. If it was one-on-one coverage, he would throw it to you and hope that you would come down with it. Luckily, Beasley did come down with it a few times on some crucial drives, and that's what he would do. And that's exactly what we saw Colt McCoy doing in that game. In that first interception to Anthony Brown, he threw it to a rookie versus a seasoned DB. Now, he may think that Anthony Brown is our weak spot or not, but he didn't throw it open. He just threw the ball up. Anthony Brown, being seasoned, was looking in the backfield and saw the ball in the air before that rookie wide receiver did and went up and intercepted it. And that's the same thing that Dak used to do, and that's why we've improved our offense so greatly by bringing in Amari Cooper, because now we actually have separation. Dak is being able to throw the ball comfortably to a wide receiver who is truly open. He doesn't have to throw him open or hope that they're going to go up and win a battle one-on-one. So I think that's what's really helped us out. And now him drawing a majority of the coverage and still getting open with the best defender has now moved the second best defender down to Cole Beasley and allowed them to start getting more separation. So as far as, throwing the ball to a bad spot and that sort of thing, he's not doing that as much. And I think that's going to be getting back on subject. I know we kind of went off on a bunny trail here. We're talking about the Saints. If we're going to beat the Saints, we have to continue doing what we're doing, and that's not turning the ball over.
Boom. So, absolutely. Great. That's a great point, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, that's a phenomenal point. And basically, that's pretty much where I've been hanging my hat on with Dak Prescott. Like, I pretty much said, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, I really don't care what he does. You know what I'm saying? Because we have won with Dak Prescott having, like, non-traditional quarterback stats. You know what I'm saying? And we've won with him having quarterback stats and and we've lost with him having traditional quarterback stats, the 240s, blah, blah, blah. You know, so the Cowboys, the number one thing I need from my quarterback, to be honest with you, is just not to turn the ball over. But one thing I also love, just to kind of piggyback on this defense, on these hot boys that we're talking about, let me switch my hat. Talking about these hot boys, one thing I have noticed, even though we are giving up points in the fourth quarter, which is absolutely not good, look what we're doing in the first half, bro. The Dallas Cowboys in the last 3 weeks have literally, in the first quarter, Philly scored 0 points. Washington scored 0 points. Atlanta scored 0 points. Now, let me tell you, in the second quarter, Philly scored 3 points. Washington scored 7 points. Atlanta scored 6 points. Your defense is averaging, they're only giving up 6 in the last 3 games. They're giving up 6 points in the first half. So think about this. If we're averaging 19 points per game, if we're only allowing teams to score 19 points, the most of our points that we're giving up are in the second half of the game.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like our defense is coming to the game prepared to play. Like, because you got to think like this. When are teams typically the most fiery? At the beginning of a game or at the end? Teams are also most pass heavy at the, and think about this, Sin. Think about this, Sin City. A lot of these teams that we've played, Atlanta, Washington, and Philly, what do they do to get back into games? They pass the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Atlanta's passed the ball. Washington passed the ball. Philly passed the ball. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's, and think about this. Even with that, in the first half, the Dallas Cowboys were able to sustain. And I'm going to be honest, I know everybody's not giving Atlanta as much credit as they should, but I'm going to be honest with you, Atlanta at home is a totally different team. And to think about this, you know, for 3 quarters, we held them to 9 points. The Hot Boys, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is a Dallas Cowboys. The fourth quarter is a Dallas Cowboy problem. Even in the preseason game, y'all remember that preseason game against San Francisco 49ers? I went to the game. I was extremely pissed in that last game, in that preseason game. Why? Because we were up with 5 minutes left on the clock, and a 4th-string quarterback who's not even on the team, I don't think, because I don't think it was number 4 kid, marched all the way down the field in a preseason game and scored. You know what I'm saying? So this is, you know, this giving up points in the 4th and 3rd quarter, this is something that's actually been, this has been a problem for a long time now. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about this, if the Dallas Cowboys can figure out a way to contain teams in the 4th quarter, bro, a lot of these games, look at this. Think about this, the Philly game. They scored 17 points in the second half. If we're able to stop them on one of those drives, that game's not close. Washington, bro, they scored 7 points in the first half, 16 in the second half. If we're able to stop on one of those drives, that game's not close. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Atlanta. Atlanta scored 10. They had 19 total points. Well, bro, they scored 10 of it in the 4th quarter. The fact that you're able to give up 10 points in a 4th quarter and win a game is pretty impressive. But at the same time, you cannot do that against Drew Brees. If you're going to give Drew Brees 10 points in the 4th, first off, Drew Brees ain't going to get the 3 points. He's going to probably get a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I think one thing that I have to say that may contribute to that is in a lot of those games, the other team received the ball to start the second half. So one extra possession will help score a few more points. But then if that was going to be, you know, to go along with what you're saying, it is an issue because you would see more scoring in the 3rd quarter than the 4th quarter. And what we're seeing is it's actually in the 4th quarter. Some of it is this mentality that Jason Garrett brings with him. I know a lot of the fans here know what I'm talking about, that he basically doesn't risk anything. They play it safe, and we kind of sit on the lead and we let it dwindle down. Even going back to the first game of the year against the Giants when they started onside kicking the ball, and they actually got the onside kick.
Yep,
and they actually made a game of that, you know. So that is his kind of mentality and the kind of character that he brings to the team. Is that bend but don't break defense, and sometimes one of these times it's going to bite you. You know, we've seen it happen to us in the past going against Aaron Rodgers. He's made us look bad in the playoffs and come back, and everybody knows what I'm talking about there. He's put us out of the playoffs. So, you know, against elite level quarterbacks, you're exactly right. You cannot give them more opportunities in the second half of the game, and you cannot allow them to score points in the 4th quarter, you know, regardless of whether they're up or down, and be successful.
Absolutely. Hey, what's up to all my people over at YouTube? My boy Maurice, Alfred, how you doing? Sup. Kerry, what's up? Kerry says we are 23-1 when he does not turn over the ball. He's talking about Ezekiel. I mean, he's talking about Dak Prescott. You're absolutely right. I think the offense can actually help the defense, I feel, in the 4th quarter. Let me tell you why I think this offense can actually help the defense in the 4th quarter. Because think of this, bro. In order for you to score 10 points in the 4th quarter, you have to have the ball at least how many times? You got to have the ball at least 2.
Yeah.
You got to have the ball at least twice to score 10 points. For your defense to give up two scores, they got to at least have the ball twice. So think about this. Your offense, I think in this 4th quarter, just like they're doing, the reason why I think teams aren't scoring as much in the 1st quarter is because they don't have time to. Like if you notice, most of the teams who do score on us, they're not even getting the ball until like midway into the first quarter, going into the second quarter. So when we go to the second quarter, the opposing offenses are typically still on their first drive. That's hence the reason you're not giving up many points in the first quarter, because the Dallas Cowboys coming out the gate, what they're doing is they're doing long, methodical drives. Look in the Atlanta game. Our first 2 series, 15 plays, 6.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes. The next drive, 13 plays, almost 7.5 minutes in. That's 12 minutes right there by itself. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Dallas Cowboys, I also think, you know, in that first quarter, we do a better job, I think, offensively of just paying attention to the clock and where the clock is. Because if you're giving if your offense is giving the ball, they have to give up the ball at least once in the fourth quarter. Why? Because teams are giving that extra possession, like you said. So I think something that has to happen is, one, the Dallas Cowboys, and I think, Phil, that's part of the reason why you have seen the Dallas Cowboys kicking the ball off first so that they can get the ball in the second half. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, that extra possession helps a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I agree 100%, man. I think that's exactly what you have to do. And I think that's part of the issue that I have with the offensive coordinator. I think that us, the fans, they started to hear the rumblings, and then you started seeing them go for it on fourth down. You started hearing the rumblings about, we need to feed Zeke. You need to give him a minimum of 20 to 25 carries. And guess what? Zeke started getting more and more carries. I mean, part of that got helped out with us putting Suafilo in there. I think that was a great move, and he's really turned around our offensive line. But still, they're focusing on getting Ezekiel Elliott his carries. But it's kind of like, oh, all right, we've got him 15 carries in the first half. We don't really need to focus on that as much in the second half. It's okay if he comes out of a game with 30 carries. It's okay if he comes out of a game with 35 carries, especially right now when you're in the hunt for the playoffs. This is when every game is do or die. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We control our own destiny. We don't want to give that up. It's okay to give him more touches. And by more touches doesn't necessarily mean you need to line him up at wide receiver. I mean, I like the mismatch problems that they're doing, but let's still grind him down the clock, feed him the ball, and run the ball. And one thing I think that we're running not far too few of is toss plays. We have an offensive line that is getting out. That's why we're so successful on screens. And that's why we're so successful on toss. It's because they like to move. So we need to start running that, and that'll grind down that clock. But we seem to get away from that a little bit more in the second half is what I've noticed. And we don't like to run the ball as much. So I'm with you. If you want to keep them to not scoring 10 points or even having as many possessions in the fourth quarter, you have to focus on the run game and chewing up the clock.
Absolutely. So basically what you're saying is don't give them the ball. Like, honestly, in the fourth quarter, we literally have to limit Drew Brees to at least, I don't know how we'd be able to do it, but we have to figure out a way to limit Drew Brees to one possession in the fourth quarter.
Sure.
Like, we have to.
Now, somebody brought this up, too, here. Let's see, Tracy and Chris Sweat in the chat.
Hey, that's my boy Chris. Him and his wife got the same account.
Yeah, but I want to give them a heads up. They're exactly right, and that's something I've been noticing too, is that we've been getting pinned deep, and part of that is Cole Beasley. I'll hang out all on Cole Beasley. I love Cole Beasley to death, but I don't care if you're going to be returning punts, that ball never hits the ground.
True.
It never hits the ground. You're either going to call fair catch or you're going to return it. One of the two.
Hey,
you know
and then something else also that I want to see from Cole Beasley is, bro, I'm going to tell you, when I play ball, two of the most gun-ho people that you want to just have, like, I'm not afraid of nothing is your quarterback and your punt returner. Yep. Like, if you're a punt returner, you cannot be a scared punt returner. And I'm going to be honest with you. I got to get on Cole Beasley on this a little bit, too, because, you know, when Ryan Switzer was our punt returner, I absolutely hated the fact that he never returned the ball, bro. Like, he would never return it. Like, literally, he would just field the ball. Like, if you were going to be a punt returner, you have to take chances. Like, you have to take chances. You have to take those chances and try to because you got to think, a punt return, it's easier to get points on a punt return than it is a kickoff return. Why? Because on a punt return, so many players get out of their lanes and just outrun. They just outrun the punt returner. So I need Beasley to at least take a chance, bro. Like, or else you got to put somebody else back there. Because just fielding the ball, or I'm going to tell you something else he could do. Stop catching the ball on the 9, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Fake them out. Do something to try to make the ball. You know what I'm saying? Do the little, you know how you do the little fake and you pretend like you're going to catch it and then it goes over your head and bounces in the end zone? Like, he got to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? But just going out there and catching the ball, that's not doing nothing for us, man.
I agree 100%. I think the question is, though, is that if you're at like between the 9 and the 15, if you don't catch that ball somewhere at that point, then it very well could hit the ground and roll down to the 2 or 3 yard line, and they may stop the ball. I think exactly what you're saying. You see a lot of savvy returners give a fake like they're going to catch the ball, and that holds the defense up and gives it an extra tick or two to get into the end zone and get that touchback. But I agree 100%. Something has to be done. You either need to start returning the ball more and take some chances, or you need to make sure that you're fair catching every single one and it doesn't hit the ground whatsoever. Yeah. And we get as much room as possible, because getting pinned back inside our own 10 has been killing us. And what you notice from our offensive coordinator is once we're pinned back there, he likes to be super conservative, man. Yep. And on 2nd and long and 3rd and long, all we're doing is running the ball. And maybe Zeke is talented enough and he breaks a tackle to pick up that first down. But more often than not, on 3rd and long, if you hand the ball off, you have given up on your drive. And so now you're punting it from deep in your own field. You're giving the other team good field position, a short field, and they got the ball back in the second half. So I think that is, a good point by one of the commenters there on part of the reason why they are scoring. Great field position.
Yeah, and then, I mean, and to be honest with you, we're not really, giving, because our offense has been totally different since Amari Cooper has come into our offense, especially on 3rd down. I had this stat up earlier, but we kind of went a different way with it. But I just want to show you guys this stat real quick. Currently on 3rd down by weeks this season, through weeks 1 through 7, the Dallas Cowboys were 32%, ranked 30th in the NFL. Well, guess what, Sin City? There's only 32 teams in the NFL. So that's not out of 100. That's out of 32. So that's not good, right? Since Amari Cooper, we are tied for 8th, converting on 48% of our 3rd downs. I think part of the reason why I think we're able to convert on our 3rd downs now is because now with Amari Cooper, we're not just limited to just handing the ball off to Zeke. Because before Amari Cooper, guess who was getting all of our first down? Ezekiel Elliott. And if he couldn't get it, we didn't get it. And I'm going to tell you guys, if it was more than like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, you know what they did? Their little dump off pass. You guys all know that play that they do when they just trying to give up and get off the field. We all know it when we see it. Phil talked about it. But one thing about Amari Cooper, think about this. Against Washington, his first 2 catches in the game came on 3rd down. And he converted on both of them. Amari Cooper's first 2 catches against Washington came on 3rd down. And he converted on both of them. So guess what? Now we have opportunity to throw the ball. I think before Amari Cooper, throwing the ball on 3rd down was not even an option, bro. Unless it was a screenplay, I don't even think it was an option. And I think that's part of the reason why before Amari Cooper, just our offense was just horrible, bro, because there was just things we weren't even doing. It's like, forget like not even being good at it, bro. If you don't even try it, you don't even know if you're good. You know what I'm saying? So I just think before Amari Cooper on 3rd down, 3rd and 5, I think, like you said, Phil, Sin City, you were absolutely right, bro. Our offensive coordinator is so conservative that he's thinking more about, his mindset is more on, we're going to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. You shouldn't be thinking like that when you have an opportunistic defense. Like, you shouldn't be thinking like that. You should be thinking, let this thing rip, and my defense is going to get it back. Because think about this. Your defense has gotten at least 1.5 turnovers in the last 3 games. Now, the reason why I'm only talking about weeks 9 through 12, because since I want to ask you a question. If you were a team about to play the Dallas Cowboys, would you even watch a game from week 1 to 7? Would you even watch those games to see how the Cowboys played when they played weeks 1 through 7?
No, we're different all the way around. We have different players.
Thank you.
We have different coaches, and we have different starters. So it's really an entirely different offense.
You wouldn't even watch those games, right? Weeks 1 through 7 mean nothing to us because we're a totally different team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to see what type of plays we're running now with Amari Cooper. You have to see what type of plays we're running with the backup offensive linemen that are in there. Now we have 3 of them. So you wonder how that's going to change some of the play calls. So you have to be looking at some of the more recent. Yes, we may try and tie in some of the plays like that jet sweep that just keeps hanging around week after week after week. But other than that, these are different players, and they're going to go about, playing to what suits their ability best. So you really have to scout over the last few weeks here with Amari Cooper, because we're a different offense. It's changed quite a bit, and it's allowed other wide receivers to get open more and do different things. And he's brought a different attitude to the team, which I think you really have to kind of focus on what we've been doing over the last few weeks. We're a different team.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you guys, even the numbers prove it, because think about this. Before Amari Cooper, the Dallas Cowboys were averaging 16.5 points per game, right? After weeks 9 through 12, since we've had Amari Cooper, and guess where we were ranked at 16th? 30th in the NFL. 30th in points. 30th before Amari Cooper. Now think of this. Now that we've gotten Amari Cooper in the last 3 weeks, we averaged 26.6 points games. 26 points a game. It's actually 26.6. So if you want to round up, because I like to round up, we averaged basically 27 points per game. Now, think of this. The Chargers are currently ranked 8th in the NFL, and they average 25 points per game. So think of this. If the Dallas Cowboys would have had Amari Cooper the entire season, theoretically, we would have been averaging 26 points per game and would have had us the 8th ranked offense in the NFL. So for all you guys wondering, why isn't West Coast scared of the New Orleans Saints? Is simply because the Saints aren't playing a Dallas Cowboys from week 1 through 7. They're not playing that team. They're playing the Dallas Cowboys from week 9 through 12. And the Dallas Cowboys from weeks 9 through 12 is averaging 26 points per game. In the Saints, go ahead.
And think about this. Not only are we averaging a high, that's a great stat.
That's 10 points, bro. That's 10 points more.
Yeah, that's huge. But also think about this. How many points have we left on the field?
Oh, my God. You know what? I told you I didn't want to make this about Dak, but you're going to make this about Dak. Go ahead.
No, it's not about Dak. I'm just talking about missed field. I mean, I could be talking about Maher. I'm changing Maher's name. It's not Money Maher anymore. It's maybe Maher.
Oh, don't do him like that, baby.
But I'll tell you what. That's a good call. I mean, that's a good call by this front office to go ahead and go with him, especially if you guys saw what Dan Bailey did yesterday.
Wow.
He's not the same.
He's not.
But he still hasn't earned Money Maher to me. It's maybe Maher. But my point is that we're leaving a lot of points on the field, whether it be a drop ball to a bad throw to Noah Brown, or a drop ball by Cole Beasley, which you can't blame Dak for, or it could be a missed field goal, or it could be a missed extra point. I mean, there's a lot of points that we've left on the field in all of these games. So not only have we improved by a huge amount of points that would put us near 8, 7 in the league, but if you were to add in those extra points and we actually played a clean, crisp game, I mean, now we're not far behind the Saints, if not even right there with them. But we have a better defense.
Boom. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I know that the Saints hold their hat. One of the subs on here put a ridiculous stat on here, and I loved it. I was gonna get to it, but I was just trying to hold it off until we could use it. But my boy put the stats in here. He basically said the Saints have played in their 11 games. They played one top 5 defense, and guess how many points they scored against that top 5 defense? 24.
Baltimore, right?
Yep.
That's actually the game I'm going to use to break down the Saints. I think we need to do a lot of what Baltimore did there, and
Baltimore. And before you even jump in that, is Baltimore's quarterback better than Dak Prescott? I don't think so.
Not at all. Which one? I don't think they even know which one they
exactly. And they were able to, put a plan together to execute against Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? The AFC team. You know what I'm saying? Now let's just be real. The AFC is not NFC. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not. The AFC, in the NFC, we play some real football over here. You know what I'm saying? The AFC, I'm not saying they don't play real football in the AFC, but I'm just saying, have you guys noticed that the AFC Super Bowl representative is pretty much the same team every single year? Have you noticed that? But in the NFC, can I ask you a question? When was the last time in the NFC? Like the NFC, you rarely have backed up, except for New Orleans, except for the Seattle and San Francisco. And what did Seattle and San Francisco, what were they known for? Defense.
Right.
If you want to get out the NFC, you had better be able to stop people from scoring. Period.
100% agree. Yeah, I think that's our recipe. I think exactly what we've hit on, man. We need long, sustained drives. We need to feed the ball to Zeke. We need to control the clock. And we need to not be afraid of throwing the ball to Amari Cooper. I think we need to keep focus on him on third downs. He's been so successful with us so far, and he's been the one extending drives when we really needed them to do that. Those are my keys, along with not turning the ball over, which was the first thing we discussed. We need to control the ball. We can't turn it back over to them, and we need to control field position. If we do that, I think we can play with anybody in the NFL, not just the Saints. I think you can talk about anybody. Chiefs, Rams, Patriots, I don't care who you want to bring up. I think that's the recipe for a championship.
Yeah, and I mean, I think any Saints fan, for whatever reason, we have a ton of Saints fans up in here. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Miss Brenda, how you doing? I see you a loyal Saints fan. Hey, that's what's up. All I'm asking is you bring that same energy on Thursday. You know, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of Saints fans are just saying that, oh, we're going to beat the Cowboys. Why? Because we're 11-1. Okay, well, give me a reason on why you're going to beat us. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If you're like I said, if you're looking at the Cowboys week 1 through 7, yeah, you guys are going to slaughter us. 100. You guys would. If we played the Saints weeks 1 through 7, yeah, they would have slaughtered us, bro. They would have slaughtered us. Like, but I thought Atlanta thought they were going to do that too, though. What happened in Atlanta? Like, what happened in Atlanta? Oh, I score Atlanta and we score, how many points they score a game? 28 points at home. What happened in Atlanta? Let me tell you what happened in Atlanta. They scored 6 points in the first half and 13 in the second. If we're able to get hold of Matt Ryan and limit one of those possessions, then guess what? Some of these teams that we're playing encompass with what you were saying, Phil, making these upper teams, bro, we could blow teams out.
Absolutely.
Every single person on this feed can think of at least one missed touchdown in all 6 of the games that I just showed right now. Or at least, just let me say all 6. In the last 3 games. You brought a great point. How often does Cole Beasley drop wide open touchdowns in the end zone?
Sure.
I mean, that's why I can't even get mad at him. I'm like I'm mad, but I'm like, he's never really done that before. So it's like I can't really you know what I mean? Like, he's not Jesus Christos. You know what I mean? He's not perfect. So I got to give him his one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at Beasley like, when was the last time Beasley dropped a touchdown? Like, I just don't remember. You know, so we have oddity things that happen to us, but I mean, the opportunities are there. It's like the opportunity, it's like you watch a heavyweight fight and you're like, dang, I could have knocked him out there. Dang, he was wide open there. I could have knocked him out there. It's just about executing on those opportunities. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Saints, they're looking at our team and they're not looking at this as a guaranteed win. I think the Saints are actually preparing themselves to say, hey, we're going to know who we are after this game. Because remember, the Saints didn't go get anybody's wide receivers but the Dallas Cowboys ones. I'm just saying.
Right. Exactly. And, Drew Brees has already come out and said that he thinks that we're playing at a high level. He's showing respect. I mean, he's an ultimate professional. But he's come out and he said it. It's on film this week, him breaking us down. And he knows that our defense is strong and how good we are. But I don't think it's just going to be execution. We're going to need to be clicking on all cylinders. And it's not just going to be by the players. It needs to be by the offensive coordinator. There's no way in hell you can tell me that we get down to the 4-yard line ready to score and we should be throwing the ball around. Those are times that we need to capitalize. We can't leave with 3 points on those type of situations. Not with the best running back in the NFL as far as I'm concerned and a pretty darn good offensive line. So we need him to not get cute and just run the ball. Yeah. I think we cannot come away from those type of situations in this game with New Orleans leaving points on the field if we want to be successful.
And let's just keep it real. For all the Saints fans that are watching my show, I just want to insult you real quick. Amari Cooper is better than Michael Thomas, 100. You want to know why? Want to know why? Want to know why? Because is Drew Brees better than Dak Prescott?
You have to say he's better than most quarterbacks.
He's probably better than every quarterback, right? Except for maybe like Tom Brady or something. You know what I'm saying? Right. Well, guess what? Amari Cooper is doing what he's doing with a quarterback that's ranked 29th.
Right.
29th. Then Derek Carr. If you go look at Derek Carr has never been ranked in the top 15. Well, I take that back. The one he had a year where he was ranked in the top, he was 11th You know what I'm saying? And that was the year before he got paid. You know what I'm saying? So you're telling me Amari Cooper is able to produce with less quarterback play? You know what I'm saying? And you have a guy, Michael Thomas, who is producing, don't get me wrong, but you also have Drew Brees throwing 81% of his completions to you. Like, bro, if Drew Brees put me on his team and threw me 81% of the balls, bruh, I would think I would have at least 600 yards. At least 600 yards.
That's another point, too. I would say not only do you have an elite quarterback throwing to you, but they are creating matchup problems by bringing Kamara out of the backfield and throwing to him a lot. So they're focusing on him quite a bit. But other than that, I would have to say if you can take Michael Thomas out of this game for New Orleans, man, that is really going to change it. Bottom line is that he's got like 80 some odd receptions so far this year. I mean, I can get it for you right now, but he's at 1,080 yards and 80 some odd receptions. Second is Kamara.
Your running back. So, Phil, can I ask you a question? Phil? When you're scouting a team, because you're a serious Cowboy fan, out to uncover truth, when you're scouting a team and you see that their number one receiver is their number one receiver, and then the second guy is a running back, I mean, that used to be us. To be us. They're just better at it. But weeks 1 through 7, that was us. Our running back had the number one most targets in receptions on our team. But what does that say? What, in your opinion, Phil, no matter who the quarterback is, what does that really say, like football sense?
As far as I'm concerned, is that he's only got one real target that he goes to at wide receiver. The rest of it is mostly going to be check down stuff. Kamara gives him the ability to go downfield a little bit more than usual with the running back. I mean, but not often. Most of that stuff's going to be short and in the flats that Kamara's going to catch, just like Ezekiel Elliott. Every once in a while, he'll catch a long ball, but so does Ezekiel Elliott. Go back to the Detroit Lions game, So we work all that in too. I mean, they are pretty identical to us, but I think if you can take Michael Thomas out of this game, then you're really going to focus Drew Brees to change what he's doing. There's no other big-name wide receiver on that team. There's a reason why they were scrambling for wide receivers. There's a reason why they went out and got Des Bryant. There's a reason why they signed Brandon Marshall after that.
Boom.
They're worried. That's where they know the weak spot of their team is, and that's why they're bringing so many people in. And they're going to take that weakness and come up against our strength in defense. So if we can really – Byron Jones, if he can match up and take Michael Thomas out of this game, I think we may even be able to blow out New Orleans Saints. So I know you got a lot of Saints fans in here in the comments. How do you like that?
Exactly. And you know what's crazy? You know what I love about this? Nothing of what we're saying is opinionated. This is just what the paperwork say. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, if the paperwork didn't say that, then we really couldn't talk about it. But I mean, you guys got to stop looking at your team is two different teams. Like, it's AD before Christ and, BC before, AD after Christ and BC before Christ. Well, guess what? You need to say AD after Cooper and BC before Cooper. They're not looking, the only games that the Saints are looking at realistically is the last 3 games. You don't know why? Because they know that we are a totally different team. Everybody in the NFL knows that we're a totally different team with Amari Cooper. Absolutely. Now, my thing is this. The Dallas Cowboys, I understand what Michael Thomas can do, but, bro, I just don't get afraid of – I'm not afraid of Michael. I'm just not afraid of him, bro. If Julio Jones can only get 100 and some yards, and think about this, he got 36 of it on one play. There has not been one cornerback that has just given up butt all year. When I say butt, that means a large amount of yards. There hasn't been one. Like even against Atlanta, Julio got 40 yards on this guy. He got the touchdown on Jordan Lewis, but he really didn't do much. Was it Jordan Lewis? No, it's Cheeto. I apologize. It was Cheeto. You know what I'm saying? But he got the touchdown on Cheeto, but everything else was kind of like split up. So there isn't one, like even Anthony Brown, there isn't any like weak point in our defense. You know what I'm saying? There are things that other players do better, like Byron Jones flat out covers better than everybody else. But even with that, Cheeto can handle those guys. Now, I'm going to tell you, the fact that Drew Brees only really throws the ball to the tight end out of necessity, I love that. Because now you're telling me that all I really got it, because look it, their tight end is not balling. Like, their tight end, like all in every game that we've won, the tight end has been a factor, bro. Like the tight end position for the opposite team has been a factor. You know what I'm saying? Because for whatever reason, they just get lost. You know what I'm saying? They get lost. I think we just get too caught up trying to get to the. I don't know what it is, man, but for whatever reason, tight ends always seem to get lost when they play against us. And think about this: in Atlanta, Julio got targeted 9 times. Hooper, the tight end, he got targeted 8 times. You know what I'm saying? So these are pass-heavy teams that want to throw the ball to their tight ends and to their big receiver. I have no problem. So basically what you're saying is Drew Brees is going to look downfield, and then if it's not open, he's going to go to the running back who starts his play from the backfield. That's LVE. So basically what you're saying is, do I think LVE can handle that? Well, I'm going to ask you, do you think LVE can handle that? From what we've seen. Do you guys think LVE? I think LVE can handle that. So my question is this. Drew Brees has only been sacked. He's only been sacked 10 times this year. That's one time per game. One sack per game. That's what they're giving up. And he's only thrown 3 interceptions. You know what that lets me know? He has forever. He has forever to throw the ball. He's dictating. He's doing what he wants to do. But I want to know, man, is he going to be able to do that against them hot boys, though?
Well, I think part of that doesn't necessarily mean that he has forever. I think you also have to look at it. People are saying, I saw somebody say, we obviously aren't watching the Saints. I watched the Saints. I watched the Saints play a Philadelphia Eagle team that quit, that let them hang up 48 points on them. I mean, I've watched the Saints, and teams are letting them do this and really not playing the kind of football that we play. So I definitely see them. But the thing is, they haven't seen a team like us. And the closest one that you would say would be Baltimore, but Baltimore can't run the ball like us.
Nope.
So for everybody who's saying that we don't know what we're talking about or we haven't been watching the Saints, well, we definitely know what we're talking about, and we're coming up with facts on why we're saying what we're saying. But as far as the Hot Boys and Drew Brees, I will give him this. He is a consummate professional. He's one of the best.
He is.
So even though he does have time back there, or he's not sacked as many other quarterbacks, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's got all day. It just means that he'll get rid of the ball. He'll get rid of the ball quickly. If you start pressuring him, he'll speed up how quick that ball comes out. And and that's why you're not getting a whole lot of pressures. And he's smart with the ball. Because he has a check down like Ingram or Kamara. That's why he has so many high percentage throws and not as many interceptions. Yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna tell you this: LVE and our linebacking core, we all know they can tackle in space. That's where most of these teams are losing Kamara. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, one thing about the Saints offense is they have a play that goes deep on every single play, except for the running plays. But on every pass concept, there's someone going at least 20 yards. You wanna know why? Because they know Drew Brees can throw it. So my thing is what he's doing, it's perfect quarterback play, man. Like really, it's perfect quarterback play. What he does is he looks downfield for the touchdown. If it's not there, he's dumping it off. You know what I'm saying? That's why part of the reason why his completions are so high, his completion rate is so high, because he's completing his second receiver that he's throwing the ball to is 5 yards in front of him. Like think of this: if Ezekiel Elliott had how many targets, how many receptions does Alvin Kamara has? If Zeke had that many completions, that many catches, Dak's Prescott stats would be higher too.
Right.
Like exactly. Dak's stat would be higher too. Like if anybody can complete a ball to someone 6 yards in front of you, and then think about that, all those yak yards that Kamara's getting, because Kamara, one thing he is really good at, and he's not even I don't think he's nearly as elusive as like Tyreek Hill or I just say Tyreek Hill. I think he's right there with that boy, the running back, but he's not nearly as elusive as those guys. But he's really, really good at making guys make that first miss. And guess what it is? It's linebackers. The Dallas Cowboys have a very good linebacking core. So all my Saints fans that are on here watching the Dallas Cowboy fan, I just want to know, we watching your team getting stats. Are you guys watching us? Because a lot of the stuff that Saints fans are saying right now about the Dallas Cowboys are pre-Amari Cooper. Like, have you guys watched the last 3 games? Like, that's what I want to know to all these Saints fans that are watching our show right now. Have you guys watched the Dallas Cowboys in the last 3 games? Because if you watched the Dallas Cowboys in the last 3 games, you would kind of feel the way I do. That this is a game that's pretty even on both sides. That's just being real.
I'll say this. I think they need to be worried about their defense. I mean, I know they traded for Eli Apple. What's he ever done?
He's trash, bro.
You bake that boy up. And then, who are they going to put on Amari Cooper? What, Lattimore? I mean, good luck.
Ain't he coming? Isn't Lattimore coming? Isn't he coming off an injury?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he played last week. I'm not sure if he's coming off an injury or not, but I can tell you he's not going to be able to keep up. Amari Cooper runs such clean routes. He made Darby tear his ligament trying to cover him, the Philadelphia Eagles DB. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at somebody's injury. I'm just trying to tell you that when you got somebody who can run routes so cleanly the way that Amari Cooper can, you better focus your defense on him. And once you start focusing your defense on him, now that it's been proven to Scott Linehan, hey, this guy is one of the best in the NFL, he's going to start focusing on trying to get him the ball more. So if you don't try and take him away, then you're going to be in trouble. If you do take him away, now you're leaving routes and lanes open for Zeke. They need to be worried. I don't think that they have what it takes to stop us.
I don't think so either. And think about this, bro. This they are #1 rushing defense in the league, only giving up 78 yards. Running backs are averaging 60 yards, basically 59.8 yards a game. So I want to ask y'all a question. Do y'all think Zeke's about to get 58 yards on these guys? I don't. I'm sorry. In the last 3 games, Zeke has been between 190 and 200 yards per game. So it's like, unless there's about to be a huge regression or digression, if that, whichever the word is, in Ezekiel Elliott's performance, I just don't think so. And to be honest with you, the offensive line is playing so well with Xavier out there, and with Xavier and those guards. To be honest with you, the guards in the center are just playing ridiculous, lights out right now. You know what I'm saying? They're playing lights out right now. Xavier and Looney, like everybody talks about the Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott chemistry. Bro, we didn't talk about that Joe Looney and Xavier Su'a-Filo combination, bro. Because those dudes, they have to be either distant cousins or guys who have just known each other in another life, because their chemistry is ridiculous.
Right.
Their chemistry is ridiculous.
Philadelphia had one of the better run defenses when we went against them before we broke them. And then Ezekiel Elliott had all kinds of yards against them. Then after that, we went up against Atlanta and Washington. And look at what we did against Washington's D-line. I mean, that D-line was touted as one of the best in the league, and we ran the ball all over them, 120 yards for Zeke. So I don't think anybody crossed 100 yards against them all season before Zeke. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think Zeke was the first 100-yard rusher they had against Washington Redskins. So I can tell you the Saints don't have that. I can tell you the Saints don't have Josh Norman. A lot of more. I wouldn't say those 2 DBs over there are Josh Norman. I don't think they're a Swearinger. Like, he's been doing well. He's been getting some interceptions. I don't think that they have the D-line that Washington has. And look at what we just did to them.
Yeah.
So I think they need to be worried.
And think about this, Phil. Think about this. Our game plan is going to – and think about this. New Orleans' game plan is to try to keep their defense off the field. They're shielding their defense. Well, guess what? Our game plan is to put your defense on the field.
Right. So
they're going to try to protect their defense, and we're going to do everything within our possibility to keep your defense on the field.
Sure.
So think about this. Your strength, your weakness, we're going to highlight it. Why? Because your weakness is actually our strength. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? When you run the ball, the clock, you're controlling the clock. If you're controlling the clock, guess what you're also doing? I'm controlling your quarterback. Because how can your quarterback throw touchdowns if he's not on the field?
Right. 100%. I think that's exactly the game plan. I think Drew Brees is going to have a frustrating day, and that's when you might see him start to really let it go. But at the end of the game, and then you might see this continuation of high scoring in the fourth quarter. But I don't see them being ahead as long as we do what we're supposed to do. I think if we play our game plan, it doesn't really matter what they do. They're not going to be able to blow us out the way they have other teams, and they may even be trailing this game come the fourth quarter. And as long as we're in the game at that point, we're okay because we have the ability to control the clock and keep them off the field.
And I'm going to tell you guys this, and I'm not trying to go for no participation trophy, but I'm going to tell you guys this. If it's the third quarter and the Dallas Cowboys are still in this game, New Orleans, you can consider that a loss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and think about this. We may be playing them in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see what they have. This is going to be a great opportunity for us to measure ourselves. They're looking at us, and they're measuring themselves against a playoff team. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
And who has more to lose here them or us. It's definitely them. They're trying to play for home field advantage and all that. Bottom line is that we are number one in the division. We still control our own destiny. We still can, and we still have a couple division games where we can lock this thing up.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. And anything is possible. And before we get off here, man, I even think that, Phil, we're gonna get a little surprise this week, where I believe that either David Irving or Tavon Austin is gonna come back. And then think about that. That's a totally different player that you haven't schemed against with Amari Cooper. Now, obviously, Tavon Austin don't play defense. I mean, David Irving doesn't play defense. But could you imagine Tavon Austin out there on the field with Amari Cooper?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to have the safety roll over towards Tavon Austin, and if you leave Amari Cooper one-on-one, he's gonna win that battle.
Yeah, David Irving, I'm gonna be honest with you, our defense has done so well with him. He's just a little, a little sprinkle of sweetness if we get him back. But I saw some comments on his Instagram this morning that let me know that he probably, man, David, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know why y'all keep bringing his name up. I would actually talk about Randy Gregory before I talked about David Irving, in my opinion. But I just think that the Dallas Cowboys are a totally different team, and I do believe that toward the end of this game, you're gonna get a surprise. Not a surprise toward the end of this game, but toward the end of this week, we're gonna get a surprise, as in getting one of our high-end, somebody back this week. And I think either way, it's gonna add a wrinkle. But I would absolutely, in the last game, there was videos shown of Tavon Austin dancing on the sidelines after that win. I'm just saying it's kind of hard to dance when you hurt. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And you think about this. Tavon Austin was a receiver by necessity. Now that we have Amari Cooper, we don't really need him as a wide receiver because we're not going to the wide receiver by committee. So I think Tavon Austin now will actually be used for what he was supposed to be used for, and that is just weaponized, just a weapon. Put him anywhere. Put him anywhere.
And think about this. If he comes back, what else were we talking about? We were talking about field position and punt returns and issues that we had there. Guess what Tavon Austin goes back to doing? Goes back to returning. And now you have another threat that really turns that around and changes the field position game for us. That's exactly what we want. Plays right into our hands.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I just have that feeling that one of those guys are going to come back this week because that's almost like the extra wrinkle. Just like New Orleans tried to build in a wrinkle into this game with bringing in Dez Bryant. Well, guess what? I think Jerry Jones is going to do the same thing. I think we're going to get Tavon Austin. I mean, David Irving I don't really care about because our defense is playing so well. You're just kind of hoping on what he can do. But I would like to see Tavon. If you could ask me right now who would I like to get, I'd like to get Tavon Austin back because the return game is going to be different. Then Beasley can go back to doing what he normally do because Tavon can do the punts. He can do the kick returns. Also, think about this. You won't have to bring I love Jordan Lewis, but come on, bro. He should not be doing a jet sweep. Everybody knows he's getting the ball or he's a decoy when he comes in. When Tavon Austin comes back, he can go back to doing his job. Like, everything gets to ship back to where it originally was. And so I like that because Tavon, that's going to add a ridiculous wrinkle because we both saw what Tavon Austin was able to do once he got the ball into his hands. He makes plays, bruh. Like, let's just be real. He makes plays. And there is a reason the Cowboys did not put him on IR. There is a reason the Cowboys did not put there's a reason why they didn't put Travis Frederick and Tavon Austin on IR because they feel that they're going to get him. They're going to get him back.
Like this. I mean, barring the fact that the Saints throw it to Alvin Kamara, second most on the team. If you were to take Tavon Austin off our team and put him on the New Orleans Saints, I would go ahead and say that he'd probably be the number 2 wide receiver on that team. They really have nobody else behind Michael Thomas. So that just goes to show you, if we're going to match weapons to weapons, right now, I'll take Amari Cooper over Michael Thomas. We already talked about that. I'll take Tavon Austin and Beasley over anybody else they got on that team at wide receiver. True. And then I will also take Ezekiel Elliott over running back. But to be honest, if we're going to compare Ezekiel Elliott, they kind of been splitting a lot of time between Mark Ingram and Kamara. Kamara seems to be more their scat back that they're throwing out of the backfield. And when they're looking for a bruiser, they bring in Ingram to pick up those 2 yards, 3 yards, the short gains, and the goal line stuff. So I think that we can control that regardless of whether we have David Irving or not. But I like the way that we match up offense to offense. And obviously I think our defense is clearly better than theirs. I think this is going to be a big shocker for the NFL. And we're going to put the NFL on notice with this game.
And I'm going to give you guys a little hint too, right? If you're playing the Saints and you're down Can you run the ball?
Yeah.
You can't really run the ball. So if you guys are wondering why they're number one in running against the rush, you want to know why? Because most teams are down and you're not running the ball. Like most, if you go look at the teams that they play, they haven't played a run-heavy team except for the Rams. And I'm going to be honest with you, truth be told, the Rams are not a run-first team. They have a top 3 running back, but they are not a run-first team. Let's just be real. They are a pass-first team. Their goal is to use the run game to set up what they want to do in the pass game. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, the Rams are they're like a better Giants. Like the Giants should be a run team. Why? When you draft a guy, well, Saquon Barkley, like 3rd or 4th pick overall, when you draft a guy to be 3rd or 4th pick overall, he should be smacking almost 1,000 yards right now. Right. But guess what? You're not a run-first team. You know what I'm saying? And look at the teams that they played. Like, bro, if you're down 14 points, you're not running the ball. You're throwing the ball. You're throwing the ball. So part of the reason why they're ranked number 1 is because teams are down and they're not running the ball. You know what I'm saying? That's just flat out simple. They're just not, 2 teams are choosing not to run the ball. Atlanta, they play Atlanta twice. Atlanta, look what they did. How many times they run the ball with us? You know what I'm saying? Today's NFL is pass, pass, pass. We are really one of the few teams that are really run dominant. Like, we're one of the only teams that are really run dominant. And if you notice, with us being run dominant, we're always in games. We're always in games.
Yeah. Vice versa, we don't really close the door on anybody, or we haven't been. I think we have the ability if we clean up some of those problems with leaving points on the field. But yeah, you're exactly right. Nobody blows us out. We're always in it to the end. You think back to the Texans game, the Washington game; those came down to field goals.
Final play games in the 4th quarter.
Right, Atlanta, exactly. It's exactly the way it's been going. And if we're in the game, then the Saints are definitely in trouble, because that means a lot of things have been going right for us and going exactly the way that we want it to. Our game plan. It means we've been able to run the ball. It means the defense has been able to get them off the field, and offenses have long, sustained drives.
Yeah, so. And then you think about it, if you go look at our 5 losses, we lost 5 games in the 4th quarter. We lost 5 games in the 4th. We were in North Carolina. What was the score on that game? We were in that game, lost the game on the final drive. Try to throw that 4th and whatever to, what's his name? Delonte Thompson. Didn't make it. Didn't catch the ball. Giants game. Won that game in the 4th quarter. 3rd week. Who we played 3rd? Seattle. Lost that game in the final drive. Texans. Lost that game on the final drive. Washington, the 1st game. Lost that game on the final drive in the 4th quarter. You know what I'm saying? So there's a common theme to what's happening and why these games are being lost. And think about this. We still technically haven't fixed that because we're still giving up 13 points in the 4th quarter, and we're still winning. So, I mean, imagine when your Cowboys are able to get a hold of that, or just limit their possessions. Just limit the possessions. You know what I'm saying? Once we're able to do that, man, that's an extra 7-8 points that are not going to be that are not going to be on that scoreboard. But yo, man, it has been a great show, man. We just hit that hour mark. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. I appreciate all the scouts over at that have gone over to Patreon. Make sure you guys go to patreon.com. Type in DC Scouting. It'll pull it straight up. We have a bunch of great perks that you can take advantage of as a scout. Remember, a scout is simply a serious Cowboy fan out to uncover truth. That's all it is, man. Nothing big and simple, man. You're just a guy or a girl who is committed to understanding the facts of what's happening with your Dallas Cowboys. Man, so I appreciate everybody who's chosen to do that and who are supporting Dallas Cowboys Scouting, man. Shout out to all the Patreons, man. Just go on there and pick a plan that best fits you in your life. Hey, Cincinnati, before we get out of here, man, is anybody want to let you pay your bills before you get up out of here, man?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate it, man. And if you guys are still wondering who that, them boys is who that.
Hey, man, so I appreciate you guys. You already know what it is, man. If you know who I am and you watch my show, do me a favor, please. Throw my slogan in the comment box because you know it. Never look down because the stars up. Peace.